Okay, so I've had the iX for a few days now, and I'm gonna have to give my thoughts on two things. One is how luxurious and good this is. This is Rolls-Royce standard of luxurious. Yes, it's super inefficient to make an SUV from an electric car. It's just so big. It takes an awful lot of energy to push it around the place, and that bothers me, because what we should be doing is looking for efficient ways of moving us around, not this massive car dragging all these batteries around the place. Also had some problems with chargers, man, but that's par for the course these days, electric cars. Listen, welcome to the Next Gear Show. Junction 14 again, and I've plugged into this fast charge point here. It's putting out 71.7 kilowatts of power, which sounds good when you realise that this can actually take 150 kilowatts of power at a time. Now this is kind of load balancing, because you might see in the background of the shot there's actually a Porsche Taycan here charging next to me, so maybe there's a bit of load balancing going on, and if he wasn't plugged in and absorbing all the power, this German car would take everything instead. But look at the back of this thing. It's beautiful, and yet it's ugly all in the same breath, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, if I open the boot here, you'll see that it leaves behind these white bits here, which are lighting for nighttime. So when the clamshell is open, all the lights have gone up, it's pitch dark behind the car, so they leave these kind of reflectors and lights on. You get a reasonable sized boot. It's not massive. This one has all its cables, has granny cables in here as well. By the way, Europeans, if you've never seen one of these before, it's a granny cable. You can plug this into a 3-pin plug. Something I don't recommend. If you're going to use these in anything even remotely efficient, you need to do it at home. But with energy prices going up right now, I see people paying 24, 23 cents per kilowatt at home. This is 38 cents per kilowatt, and you can get it down to maybe 28 cents per kilowatt, depending on where you're buying it and how you're getting it. So there's a lot. The prices, I think, are a bit muddled and hard to get on with. Now, if you've seen this before, it's because I've already reviewed this car, and the link I've left for that review is up here, which is the first test drive I had of the car in the first place. So what I'm going to do today is go through some of the good and the bad, and we're going to do that once this eventually gets charged up a bit, because it's very low on the charge. I came here with next to nothing in it, like. God bless us. Electric cars are the future, aren't they? Amen. So a word on a few of the things I do like, before a word on a few of the things I don't like. One of the things I do like is actually the way the doors open. There's a button, press this over here, it just opens and closes. There is an override on that button down low here. You can pull an actual handle. There's a real handle down there at the bottom as well if you want to. If for whatever reason that button doesn't work, or there's no power to open doors, or whatever it is, that's a 12-volt system. Things I don't like these crystal yokes. I just don't. I'm sorry, but these crystal things here, the crystal thing over here, not too keen on those things. The sat-nav, sorry BMW, the radio sat-nav, I find it really annoying. It doesn't give you enough information about where you're supposed to be, where the charge points are, doesn't tell you what your charge is going to be when you get there, doesn't tell you what the charge is going to be on the return journey. There's just so many little factors that are missing from the sat-nav software, mostly sat-nav problems. I'm already back up to 60% of a charge as far as I can see, so the charge is good. It charges rapidly. I don't have a problem with that. It goes to 150 kilowatt is as fast as it's going to be able to charge. So if you go above that, there's nothing you can do about it. I like this dimming system here on the glass roof. You press it and it goes opaque on you. There's some really cool stuff. This is every bit kind of a Land Rover, Range Rover, even Rolls-Royce vibe to the whole car. It does have all those things going on. And for that, I really do like it. But I tell you what I'm going to do is bring you on a drive to explain the rest of it. But before I do that, I'm going to show you what it looks like at nighttime driving around inside one of these cars, because I made just a little film. Okay, I just finished charging there, which is good. I'm up to 63% battery again, so I'm actually all right, 195 kilometer range. Now I don't normally, I hope that camera's picking up all that. I don't normally put a camera in shot, but I actually have one over here to one side. I normally put more cameras out of the frame because it doesn't help you. But you can see this whole thing. Now here's check control message come up again this morning. This is started this morning. High beam assistance is working now and driver assistance restricted. So something has gone wrong in the camera system up here that's stopping the drivers. Earlier I couldn't use the active cruise control either. But we'll go for a spin and we'll just talk about some things that I do and some things that I don't like. Because I think front collision warning is not working either. I don't like that. There are a number of things that BMW has done very, very well in this car. And one of them is the luxury factor. This really does feel like a luxurious car. This feels like a Range Rover, something like that kind of level, or higher, maybe like a Range Rover Vogue or Autobiography, or even like a Rolls Royce. Or you start to, the line blurs with it because it's very hard to detect exactly what you're driving. Now, one thing you won't miss is the shape of the steering wheel, which is kind of weird to see it sort of squared off. I know it's been done before, but it is still a little bit weird of why you wouldn't make a round. I mean, BMW, you make really good, thick, nice to hold steering wheels when they're round. There we go, look at any of the M series cars. I'm not sure I even like a flat bottom steering wheel in the first place. I think it's just a round steering wheel is just as good. Now, efficiency wise, this car is not efficient. For the amount of batteries that's actually in it versus the range you actually get, it just doesn't work. It's just not enough. 350 odd kilometers is what you're really going to get from the car. I know they list higher, but manufacturers are just making these things up at this stage. I don't know where they're getting the numbers from. I don't get anywhere near the range that any of these people say you're going to get unless you set out to get it. Now I can do that in a diesel car as well. If I set out to get maximum range from a diesel engine car, I'd get 1200, 1300 kilometers from a 2-litre diesel efficiently, no problem. But if I actually drive it like I would drive any other car, the range always goes down rapidly. Now, everything's kind of blurry now at the moment. So what I can do is set cruise control. It might not work because driver assistance is restricted, so I can't use the BMW system that actually keeps you in the lane and helps you assist you driving. It's not working. So it is using an active cruise control, which is keeping me distant from the cars in front of me. So that's pretty good. I can deal with that. That's all right. I can live with that because that's better than driving on your own yourself. The Nav System. So if I look into the Nav System for a second here, you can see here there's very little on it to help you as an electric car driver. So if we go to destination input, you can see vehicle charging stations right here, and it lists out who's close, who's far away, and it tells you how long you'll be there, right? So ESB group M7 junction 14 is 2.3 kilometers behind me now. I just left there, and 45 minutes what it says there. I need 45 minutes more at that charge point to charge the car up the rest of the way to 100%. That's essentially what it's saying. Now I do find a sat nav when you actually set it now it gives you no more information about what you just did, right? So at that point, once you're going and you're starting your route guidance, it just tells you where to go. So it's not really telling you much about the rest of the journey. It's not telling you how much charge you're going to have when you get there, how much charge you're going to have on a return journey. You know the stuff that Tesla invented, essentially, the Tesla software thing? That came up with all kinds of ways of keeping you occupied and not asking too many questions about electric cars. So that needs to be addressed, I think, BMW. There's nothing on the screen, just tell me 6 minutes, it's 9.3 kilometers, but it's not telling me anything about my charge state. And that is the kind of stuff that I think electric car drivers actually want to know. It does tell me down here, fortunately enough, that I have 187 kilometers range, I have 61% battery, but it's quite an insignificant figure in the figures that are attached to the car. But reviewing the car, the damping system, A1, the sound in the cabin, listen. I can hear him passing by more than I can hear myself. There you go. I can hear them passing by, but I can't really hear my own car. It is undoubtedly a very luxurious machine. I do like it, but it ain't cheap, and it's not. It's just not efficient enough. Driving around town as I did for the last few days. See, the thing tells you to get off here, but I don't actually want to leave, so I need to stop the sat nav. Stop the sat nav. I don't know how to stop sat nav, but that's it. Yeah, there you go. I drove the kids around town mostly, dropping them to and from school and picking up a few bits for Christmas things and getting all the stuff together, the usual kind of stuff you do on these kind of journeys. And I found it being fairly efficient. It's fairly efficient just driving around the town slowly. It's okay. I went okay. I went for a couple of days without charging it, right? Unfortunately, in my house, my charge point, I have to reverse into a driveway to get to the charge point. It's on the left side of the driveway. This has the charge point on the right side of the car, and it's actually quite far forward on the right side of the car, so it's pushed up a bit, which makes it kind of stretch the cable to get at it. So you might want to consider that sort of thing. When you're installing your charger at home or you're buying the car itself, you might want to just check out to make sure you can actually reach cables around and everything's okay. It can all be sorted out for you, but it might end up costing you more money. So, would I buy this car given that it's a full electric and it ain't cheap but it's very good. It's very nice. Self-healing thing on the front. It's so nice to drive around. It makes such a statement as well. Everyone looks at this car because unbelievably it's such a big machine that you just can't miss it for a start. Plus, it's not a slouch now by any means. It can actually pick up its skirts and go when you want to as well. Like it's well able to keep up with traffic, and it's well able to travel at higher speeds as well. It's just your range goes through the floor when you go at higher speeds. Corolla. It does make a nice noise as well when you put your foot down. But then putting your foot down makes it less efficient again. So again, you're back to that same dilemma that electric cars are becoming fun to drive, and you know, you can gap people at the traffic lights and you can go like a lunatic up the road. You can do all that sort of stuff, but realistically, you just end up damaging your range all the time. And there's the debate. Always happens with me. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've hit the subscribe button. I hope if this comes out during the week, coming up to Christmas, that you have a great Christmas. If you're watching this 5 years after if this is 2025 and you're watching this, I hope you have a great Christmas in 2025. It's the same thing like. It's been a wild year. I've had highs and lows throughout the whole year. It's been great crack. And hopefully you will keep on subscribing to the channel because we're over 70,000 subscribers now. And it's been a lovely ride this far. And I hope you're sticking with us. Thank you very much for watching. And until the next time, I'll see you on the far side.